Monsieur Ambassador Francois Delabous, thank you for receiving us today. You arrived from the first Caspian Economic Forum. You've been there. There were French companies also joining the Innovation Technology International Exhibition. All right. Perhaps you could share your observations, your reflections from French side. How was it? What were your expectations? And what do you think the results will be after this forum?
Thank you very much for your questions. Yes, I did take part as representative of the French government to this first Caspian Economic Forum organized by the government of Turkmenistan in Avaza and Turkmenbashi from 11th until 13th of August. And I was very happy to see that some major French firms also attended and took part in the exhibition on innovative technologies. So we had there Bouygues, we had Thales, we had Vinci, with important stands showing their know-how, their technologies. We are very proud, the French, for instance, that Thales Group has provided Turkmenistan with its first satellite, Turkmen Alem, which is a communication satellite. And here we are really talking about the finest technology you can imagine. And I'm very proud as the French ambassador to Turkmenistan that Turkmenistan has joined in 2015 the very select club of space technology countries by buying from a French firm its first satellite. The Caspian Economic Forum was an initiative which the president of Turkmenistan took during the Aktau summit of the Caspian states in August last year, August 2018, and it was endorsed by the 4 other heads of states of Kazakhstan, Iran, Azerbaijan, and Russia. And I would like really to mark my appreciation of this initiative of His Excellency President of Turkmenistan, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov, because this organization of the Caspian Economic Forum in Avaza allowed 1 year after the signing in Aktau of the Convention of the 5 Caspian states on the legal status of the Caspian Sea to prolong the spirit of dialogue and cooperation which had marked the Aktau summit and which had allowed the agreement on the text of the convention and the signing of the convention. So I'm really very appreciative, and my government is very appreciative of the fact that Turkmenistan has pledged and succeeded in prolonging this spirit of dialogue and cooperation between the 5 Caspian states, of course to the benefit of the stability and of the development, the economic development, but of course also the political dialogue of this Caspian Sea region. And not only the countries surrounding the Caspian Sea, but I would say the whole world needs that the Caspian Sea will be a region of trade, of exchange, human exchange, of political dialogue, of common infrastructure projects, and of stability, because the main word is the 2 main words are clearly development and stability. So there are common stakes for the 5 Caspian states, which are unified by this sea, but there are also stakes for the rest of the world that this region of the Caspian will be a kind of bridge between Europe, Asia, and Middle East. And this is thanks to this Caspian cooperation, the symbol of which was this first Caspian Economic Forum. I think that the success and the opportunity of this first Caspian Economic Forum was proven, if there was a need for this, was proven by the fact that the Russian Federation has proposed, and it was accepted by the 4 other Caspian states, to host next year in Astrakhan a second Caspian Economic Forum. So what was a one-shot initiative of Turkmenistan is now becoming a tradition which seems to be able to take place every year. And this is absolutely positive, constructive, and we, the French government, but also I think that I can talk on behalf of the European Union. We, the Western Europeans, member states of the European Union, can be only supportive of this cooperation and dialogue in the Caspian region. We have ourselves stakes here. We have economic stakes. We have geopolitical stakes. We need stability in Central Asia. We need stability in around the Caspian, including the Southern Caucasian, including south of the Caspian Sea. I'm thinking about Iran, which is a big international player, and not to mention, obviously, the Russian Federation. And we can be only happy that the Caspian Sea is conceived as a common place to be shared, the underwater resources of which should be exploited to the benefit of all the countries surrounding the sea, and which should be a place also for trade and human exchanges. This is to the benefit of the region. This is to the benefit of the stability of the whole continent. So this is very positive, and I would like once again to congratulate the Turkmen government for having taken the initiative of hosting and organizing this first Caspian Economic Forum.
So you said, once again, actually, you confirmed that the Silk Road, if modern Silk Road is brought from China to Europe, the Turkmenistan is important hub in this.
That is very clear that Turkmenistan has a destiny, I would say a geographical, natural destiny of being a link between the three continents of Asia. You mentioned China, but it's broader than this. Europe, of course, and also to the southwest, Middle East, and beyond Middle East, even Africa. It's not by chance that Turkmenistan has historically been an important corridor of trade. You mentioned the ancient Silk routes, which were linking China to ancient Rome through Turkmenistan. But I think that it's broader than quite clearly we are talking here of a geolocalization of Turkmenistan, which puts the stakes higher even than the new Silk Roads, which are promoted by China in the One Belt, One Road initiative of President Xi Jinping. We can be only supportive, of course, of this initiative, but I think that we can conceive the role of Turkmenistan as even broader than being just on the road between China and Western Europe. I think this is much more strategic than this.
There was one of the hot topics in the forum, green diplomacy.
Yes.
Okay, how does the French companies, French government, support or in this, green diplomacy or protection of environment or preserving of nature? What are the programs?
I was very happy to hear the 5 representatives of the Caspian countries, President Berdimuhamedov, but also the Prime Minister of Russia, the first Vice President of Iran, and the Prime Ministers of Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan, each of them mentioning the importance of ecology of the Caspian Sea, the importance of protecting, maintaining the ecosystems of the Caspian Sea when building infrastructures and when developing trade or tourism in the region. This is very nice approach, I think, and this fully corresponds to our modern appreciation of development, of economic and social development. We have to understand that the planet is a common stake for all its inhabitants, and clearly the ecological standards are part of the quality of life for all people on Earth. And when you talk about social or economic development, you absolutely fully have to integrate the ecologic component of it. As you know, France has hosted, end of 2015, the Paris Summit. It was the 21st COP, Conference of Parties of the Rio Convention, the United Nations Rio Convention on fighting against climate change. And European Union and France have taken very strong commitments in the framework of the Paris Agreement, which was signed in Paris in December 2015. We are in France really adapting our economy to these new ecological challenges with the aim of preserving the planet by reducing the emission of carbon gases and reducing the climate change, which is ongoing. The climate change is actually taking place. And in Turkmenistan, you can also feel it. So there are very important stakes for a region like Central Asia, through, for instance, the problem of the management of water resources. In a desertic region like current Central Asia, without water there is no life. There can be no life. So you have a huge challenge here, and you need absolutely modern technologies to take advantage of water resources in the best possible way, to spare water and use it as efficiently as possible. Whether the water which comes from the rain, which comes from the mountain of Kopedag, or of course from the Amur Darya River and the Garakum Canal. We know all about the tragedy of the Aral Sea, which is a legacy of the way the Soviet Union was putting economic development before any other consideration. You know that the cultivation of cotton in an artificial through irrigation way cost to humankind the Aral Sea, at least the major Aral Sea. The smaller one was, thank God, revived recently. But clearly we have here a man-made ecological catastrophe in Central Asia, the disparition of this Aral Sea. So how to cope with this? As I was mentioning, through modern technologies, which will allow to produce in better ways, in more environmental protective ways. And these French firms can bring, of course, modern technology to Turkmenistan if the Turkmen government wishes to. But once again, I would like to emphasize that the Turkmen government has taken full conscience of the need for Turkmenistan to adapt its production way to the new challenges, environmental challenges. There is a very constant language, speech of the government of Turkmenistan and the president himself of Turkmenistan on the need to preserve ecology and to also manage as well as possible water resources of Turkmenistan. And of course, we can be only supportive of this. And I would be, of course, very proud if French firms can contribute to this new economic approach of development in Turkmenistan.
There are also cultural exchanges between France and Turkmenistan. There are cultural days, weeks in France of Turkmenistan, and there are also French performers coming here too. We're proud of, we're happy for that too. There are also tourism exchanges too. French tourists are coming to see the ancient Turkmen monuments. Turkmens are going to see Eiffel Tower in Paris. Perhaps as ambassador in the time you were working here, what is the most impressed, cultural show maybe, or maybe cultural identity that you can advise people to watch or to see or to...
Well, in Turkmenistan you have a very rich cultural heritage. Turkmen music, Turkmen food, or Turkmen landscapes, or Turkmen archaeological remains. Because you can mention Merv, you can mention Nisa in the suburb of Ashgabat, you can mention Konyargenç, you can mention Dehistan. As for landscapes, you can mention, of course, the canyons in the northwest of Turkmenistan, the beauty of the desert itself. It's sober, but it is beautiful, the Karakum Desert. And you have so many things, to see. What do I appreciate most? It's very difficult to tell, but probably, although it might seem easy, I would quote naturally Nisa of Ashgabat, maybe because it's very easy to go there for me. Living in Ashgabat, I'm only 20 minutes by car from Nisa, but I love both, the archaeological site itself. And every time I go there, every 4 months, average, I go back to Nisa, I see new excavations. I see new things, new parts of ancient Nisa which have been excavated. And that's very thrilling to see how rich this archaeological site is. And I can imagine that it still has under the earth very beautiful things to be discovered. But I also love the landscape because Nisa was founded by the Parthians here. What has become Ashgabat a few thousand years later, in a place where you have the Karakum Desert ending at the foothill of the Kopedag mountain. And this is, I think, very beautiful and romantic landscape. So I have a kind of personal fondness for the Nisa site.
Monsieur Ambassador, we thank you very much for your time. You enlightened us with, from your perspectives, perspectives of European Union with Turkmenistan, of France with Turkmenistan. I hope the mutual relations between Turkmenistan and European Union and with the France will continue to grow and grow. Okay, and we wish you good luck in your mission that you're having in Ashgabat. Okay, and warm greetings to French nation from our Turkmen nation too.
Thank you very much. I will convey these greetings. I would like to say that I am convinced that the relations between the EU and France on one side and Turkmenistan on the other side will continue to develop. I'm very confident about this. And I would like to tell you how happy and proud I am to have been interviewed by your young portal in Ashgabat, and wish your own endeavor, the development of in Ashgabat web portal, the best success. Thank you very much.
Thank you.